Vic here with Jesse, who happens to be one of the producers on Mass Effect 2. Bioware is an awesome company. We have a lot of loyal gamers that love Bioware. Mass Effect 2 is so close to release. Can't wait to get our hands on it. What can you tell us?
There's all sorts of stuff. Well, I'll talk a little about combat. So we've totally revamped the combat system. It's going to feel a lot more like a mainstream combat shooter now. That being said, we didn't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater and throw away the tactical shooter. A lot of our fans really love the tactical aspects of it, so we've improved that as well. But you're also going to notice that it feels a lot more like a Gears of War or a Modern Warfare 2. The cover system, it's in and out. It's really nice and simple, smooth. You're going to be mantling. You're going to be, coming up in close combat. It's more fluid. Everything's going to feel a lot more fluid this time around. Storytelling-wise, we got the new interrupt system. Interrupting basically gives you a new kind of more aggressive or way through the conversations, or in the Paragon sense, it may be in a softer way, but it's outside the normal flow. So rather than just going through a conversation, choosing options, you're going to be able to take visceral control of the conversation. In E3 we showed we threw a guy through a window. This time around we're showing a bunch of different ones. So one of them, you're talking to Morden, you kind of interrupt him. He tends to ramble on, so you interrupt him, get him on with something different. Graphics-wise, performance-wise, you're going to see here, this is pretty much final code. So what you're going to see is it's 30 frames per second. No memory hitches, no pops, no elevators. You're going to find it's a much more overall polished experience.
How does the location traveling work?
And we've totally revamped the exploration system, like the external exploration system. So no longer do we just kind of drop you into the middle of a level and away you go. Now you can take control of Normandy just like you could before. This time around, rather than just selecting a planet and going to it, you actually take physical control of the pilot seat of the Normandy. So you fly from planet to planet, leaving system to system. Then from there you can scan, find minerals, that kind of thing. And on some planets you'll find missions, and we're gonna find that the missions that you find on these exploration worlds are gonna be a lot more driven and a lot more interweaved into the story better. So,
and that's primarily going to be the same concept where you get dropped off, you got a little radar?
It's going to be a bit more directed, so it's not going to be just dropping you in the middle of like a big giant expanse. You're actually going to find that it's way more directed, not necessarily linear, but you're going to have a goal, you're going to have objectives to meet, and you're going to be in and out of the Mako in a different way. So
the importing of your previous character, how's that going to work? Are you guys going to be able to cater for somebody who, let's say, just picked up Mass Effect 1, do they have to beat the game before they transfer it over?
Absolutely not. I mean, the importing for Mass Effect 1 is a huge feature. It's awesome. I mean, we take decisions all the way from, whether or not Rex lives or dies, or right down to, how friendly were you with the reporters? Did you punch them out or not? And that's a big thing for a lot of our core audience. But we wanted to make sure that the story felt good for the new guy or the new girl who came in and played it. So we chose what we call canon. And when you hit start new game without doing an import, you're gonna get those. That's the set that we're gonna give you. That being said, having played ME1, you're going to get a lot more of the backstory. You're going to feel the backstory. You're going to feel a lot of the value of having played ME1. But we really don't want to punish anybody for not having played it. I mean, we want to bring all the new players that we can to the experience, and we think that it plays well both ways.
So let's say I played Mass Effect 1. Can I choose to just go ahead and just play it just fresh from the beginning? Is my experience going to be any different?
Well, I mean, you're going to make some decisions in Mass Effect 1 that you're going to want to, you're going to remember those decisions. Did you save the Arachne Queen or not? Did you kill Rex? Who lived or died? Did Ashley or Kaidan live or die? And those decisions are going to be important to you. So in those cases, I would totally suggest import your character. I mean, because you'll get a different experience in Mass Effect 2, and you'll feel the reflection of those experiences. That being said, feel free, play, start new game mail, call it a day, and you'll have fun. But I'm going to be importing all my characters into Mass 1.
Absolutely.
Mass 1.
I think anybody who's a Mass Effect fan is going to be importing their character, and that's one of the biggest features of in my book. And when you were talking about interrupting dialogue, the first one did that to a certain extent.
Well, the first one had what we call branching dialogue options and branching dialogue trees. So we brought up the little wheel, and you could choose different options. But we never actually interrupted. So when a guy talked, he finished his line, then you would talk. He would talk, you would talk. It was always that kind of back and forth. This time around, the guy can be talking, you pull that Paragon interrupt, and you will literally stop him talking right then and there and start a different path in that conversation.
Is this during any point of any dialogue in the game?
No, we'll actually prompt you. You'll see an icon for Paragon and Renegade, and each one feels like a Paragon and Renegade choice. So we've made a huge amount of technological improvements. You're going to find that the graphics have overall improved, the level design is overall improved. The expanses feel bigger, but also more populated, and frame rate performance, this kind of thing, really clear, crisp frame rate. It feels a lot more smooth than we addressed a lot of issues technologically speaking. I mean, if we're going to be at a tech place, you're going to want to feel the controls and feel it for yourself, because I can sit here and talk, but man, you feel it. You feel all these enemies coming at you at 30 FPS. It's awesome.
Great. And another thing is, how simple is it going to be when you have two other people you can control at the same time and you're playing yourself? I realized you can map stuff, so you're not pausing as much. The combat experience seems a lot more seamless.
Absolutely. So in Mass 1, when you wanted your party to attack, all of your party members would attack. This time around, you can actually map to the left and right on the D-pad, and each one will work independently, and it's also context sensitive. So if you select a guy, or if you have your reticle over an enemy, and you say hit left, the squad member who's in the left slot will attack. However, if you actually have cover, your reticle over cover, he'll actually go over to that cover. And they're much more intelligent in the way that they move in and out of cover, the way that they get to those positions. They're not just going to run in front of you and drop dead. You're going to find that the AI controls itself in a much better way. And as far as personal mapping go, in the first one we only allowed you to map the one. This time around we actually allow you to map 2 powers to the right and left bumpers. So when you just tap them, you'll fire the power. As well, each of your class powers is always mapped to the Y button. So in the case of, say, the Vanguard, for example, you'll charge every time you hit the Y button, or in the case of the Infiltrate, you'll go into stealth.
Is this a mini gamer?
Yeah, so we've actually revamped all the mini games. So before we kind of had the Simon Said mini game, as the memory game. So we actually have 2 now. So the hack and bypass mini game. The hack mini game, which you just saw there for a moment, you have to complete code blocks to unlock that kind of stuff. And then the other one is a matching mini game, which is still a memory game. One of the big changes too that we made in the original, you had to actually have the skill to do the mini games. This time around, anybody can do them. The mini games actually ramp up in difficulty, so they get harder as the difficulty of the hack gets harder. So it really is an actual skill mini game.
You get experience doing that?
You get some experience on some of them, depending on how difficult they are. But we really wanted to make sure that experience stays towards combat.
Right.
So you'll actually see that combat give you the most amount of experience. Mission completion gives you the experience, which then we feed right back into your combat skills.
Awesome. Speaking of combat, what's really important is weaponry, armory, and also all the power moves.
Yeah.
What can you tell us about that? Are you guys taking it to the next level with having much more weapons than the previous one?
So actually, weapons and inventory, we've completely revamped the whole system. Right. So in Mass 1, for example, let's say you got the Scorpion 5 armor. That was just a single piece of armor. It was always green. This time around, armor comes in pieces. It's stats on each piece. You can mix and match as you see fit. You can also then go and customize each of those pieces so that you're not stuck with an armor that you don't like the look of. So that's armor. Weapons, very similar concept, except that as you pick up weapons, rather than like in the first one, say you got your Spectre 10 pistol, you only had that one pistol, so you had to decide which henchman got it, and you had to spread the love amongst 6 henchmen. This time around, we have 10 henchmen. So trying to spread that around was far too difficult. So what we do is when you get access to a new weapon, we actually give it to all of the henchmen. So every time you get an upgrade, everybody gets the upgrade. We also have a choice system built in so that you're not having to manage that inventory at all if you don't want to. Right. So you get that new Uber pistol, like that Carnifex, hand cannon. Everybody gets that. Will automatically equip that right then and there. Then you can go to an armor locker, a weapon locker. And when you go into that weapon locker, you'll actually get a choice per character which ones they want to use. So you can still customize as you see fit. On top of that, we then have the research and upgrade system. So as you play through the game, you're going to get these research plans. And once you've actually recruited the professor, he'll actually give you the ability to then upgrade stuff, build new weapons, and overall improve yourself, get new powers through the exploration minigame and through pickups that you get through the levels.
So there you guys have it. A lot of information on Mass Effect 2. Hopefully we covered a lot of it, and congratulations on the release.
Thank you very much.
Much success. All right, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.